Guys, there's a new bug in town. The Mario jump bug. Ever thought you could just come out of nowhere and finish off that low HP recalling enemy? With this new trick, you will just make them accuse you of using hacks. Hi guys, Kazuki here, and in this video we will talk about the loopholes in the latest blink adjustments which came in the latest update. Note: exploiting bugs and using hacks while playing the game will result in severe punishments, and we do not endorse using them. After the latest blink adjustments made to the game, we can leap across walls as long as the indicator crosses the wall. But there is a loophole to this. First, let's start the video off with one of the most broken heroes over the past few days, Guinevere. Guinevere's second skill has always been super annoying, so let's see what all tricks we can pull off just with our blinks. Let's start with something simple: red buff our side. Just jumped 3 walls. Nothing crazy, she can do it easily.
That was easy.
Can she do it backwards? Yes, she can. You can place your second skill a bit towards the side and she can easily cover that distance. Now let's pair it with Flicker. How far can she go? She can almost reach mid. I know this might not be super useful in matches, but if you see someone camping, you can use this and choke the hell out of them. Now let's check the enemy red buff and see how far Guinevere goes. As expected, she can move around walls with ease. She can go and come across the walls as if it is nothing. Now let's try with Flicker. She of course can reach the enemy's second tier tower. Too broken, isn't it? Now let's check the blue buff side. How far she can travel. While she can't actually do much in the blue buff, but she can travel across these thick walls. This one might not seem that impressive, but she does cover a lower distance compared to normal. Now let's pair it with Flicker. From your side, that's a low to distance. If you catch someone with this trick, the enemy will be shocked. They might even report you for hacking, so be careful. Now for the opposite side, you can still do the same trick. Isn't this ridiculous? After some testing, these are all the spots where you can do the trick. Guinevere is just too OP right now, isn't she? Okay, with Guinevere done, let's move on to our next hero, which would be everyone's favorite, Gusan. Gusan doesn't have that much range compared to Guinevere. Because he couldn't do the red buff trick, he can't really do much, and he gets stuck in the wall. But he can move across the walls, which is not really good, so I don't recommend Gusan for such blink tricks.
For glory! For peace!
With Gusan done, let's move on to our next hero, which will be Alucard. Alucard again is the same case as Gusan, as he doesn't have that range to abuse that can go beyond the walls if half of the indicator hits outside. The next hero we are going to experiment with would be Granger. Looks like Granger can't really move that much. From the experiments I have done, I can tell that all dash skills don't really push out of the walls, but all the teleport skills surely do push you out of bounds to an extent which is interesting. With one thing with Granger is that his dashes just feel smoother over the walls, which is nice. Now let's move on to our next hero, Kufra. I am excited for this one. And yes, he can do all the dashes he is supposed to do, just like Guinevere. He can do all the same tricks. Now let me show it to you one by one. The trick is pretty simple. You have to place an indicator over the wall so he will be able to hop over the wall even though he is not supposed to do so. Unlike other heroes, this is actually useful for heroes like Kufra, as they can stun enemies, which is nice. As you already saw, the red buff trick works. But will it work with Flicker? Of course, it will.
I shall be the end of you.
Will the absurd 3 wall from the blue side jump trick work? And yes, it does. Isn't that crazy? I'm sorry guys, after this video you are going to see crazy Kaeya and Kufra from now on.
You have slain an enemy.
With Kufra done, let's look at another hero who is known for her dashes, Barrett.
At the edge of death.
Let's check Barrett. If she can dash through 3 walls of red buffs like Kufra and Kaeya,
This is merely the beginning of a grand feast.
with her passive, looks like she can't. Skill, she
Out
can't.
of sheath, off the leash.
She can somewhat do it with her ultimate, but I'm pretty sure she could do it before the badge. So Queen of Dashes can't go through walls like others, which is really disappointing. With that done, let's move on to Uranus. I really have low hopes for him. Guys, from what I have tested, if they fail the red buff test, they won't be able to do other tricks, as we can clearly see it from here. So let's move on to our next hero, who is Hellcat. Hellcat, his first skill is the mobility skill. Will it work? It doesn't have that much range, but it might just cover some distance. And after looking at it, yes, it does. Not on the same level as Kaeya and Kufra, but to some extent. So let's test out the flicker trick. Near the enemy red buff, it does look like it is working. But he ends up leaving the fog behind, which means the silence doesn't apply. But guys, just imagine seeing an enemy Hellcat in mid thinking you are safe, but he ultimates, come out of nowhere and kills you in the EX period. Isn't that scary? If you are here, you can't even run to safety. But it just looked like 2 to 3 seconds for Hellcat to arrive. Even without flicker, it will just take around 1 to 2 seconds. Next, let's move on to Saber. And yes, he can't really move over 3 walls, which sucks, to be honest. Just imagine Saber coming out of nowhere and bursting you down. That's scary. But Saber can't really move through multiple walls, but he can move through 1 or 2 walls. So if you are escaping, including walls, it will be super difficult to chase you down. Let's try another well-known hero, who is Yin. Yin is another well-known hero who comes and scares you out of nowhere. Will it work? Looks like it doesn't work as intended. Well, that sucks, so let's move on. The next hero I would like to try out would be Lolita. Let's see if Lolita works. If tricks like these work, she can get into bushes to position herself for ulting. But looks like she can't, which is a shame, but it's okay. So let's move on to our next hero, which is Natalia. Since Natalia can chain her CC, if she escapes through such thick walls, it will be crazy. Looks like she can't really go through such thick walls, but you can move around quickly around walls. Either way, just use your first dash through the red creep and your second dash in the direction which you want. Let's move on to our next hero, which will be Barrett with his ultimate. The amount of combos you can pull from this is crazy. If it works, Looks like it doesn't work properly over here, but something tells me that the flicker trick is going to work in the enemy red buff. Okay, it works, which again going to be useful whenever the load is marching at the top. So if you are going Barrett's wrong, this trick is going to be useful. Now let's try out Esmeralda. With Esmeralda, we all know flicker is not going to work. But will she jump over a wall? No, she doesn't, which is sad. You can jump, but you have to go ahead for a bit. But most of the time, the enemy will just spot you. So let's move on to Martis. I don't think this is going to work. And as expected, it doesn't work. It doesn't get propelled by the wall like others do. But it's fine, so let's move on. The next hero we are going to try out would be Yong. With the looks of his indicator, it doesn't look like Yong can't really jump that far. But let's see regardless. And he doesn't do it. What if we do it in the dragon form? And he doesn't do it yet again. You can do it with flicker, but you will be just wasting your spell. So let's move on to our next hero, which is Lolita. You can do it with Lolita since her blink skill is kind of weird. It throws you next to the wall, which means you are covering less distance. Let's see near the enemy red buff. Again you can do it, but it will throw you outside the wall. You can do it with flicker here. Just wait for you to go in the bush, then first skill, flicker towards your enemy, then ultimate. It will catch them off guard for sure, but I prefer petrify on Lolita. So let's move on to our next hero, who is Sun. I have really low hopes for him, as Sun isn't going to take advantage of that flicker that much, but okay. As expected, Sun really can't do, which is okay, because why use flicker on Sun? The next hero I would like to check out would be Selena. Selena's rotation would be taken to the next level if she can move through the walls. And looks like she can't. You can flicker, but it's tricky and not that useful unless you want to finish off low HP retreating enemy. And for the last hero for today, let's take CC. Time for the big revelation. And looks like this was out of her trick box. CC can't jump the red buff wall, but she can do crazy things with her ultimate. If you are interested in knowing what she can do with her ultimate, let's check this video out. So are you going to use this trick to surprise your opponent and catch them off guard? Which hero do you think can pull this off and I missed? Share your thoughts in the comment section. That will be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting Kazuki Official.